In the village of Udumarai, where the sun scorched the earth and love was as rare as rain in the dry season, one woman held the key to the heart's deepest desires. Nneka, the pot-hearted matchmaker, was no ordinary woman. On her head, she wore a cooking pot, polished and gleaming, as if the gods themselves had placed it there. The villagers whispered stories of how she never removed the pot, not even in the dead of night. Some said it was filled with the secret of the ancestors. Others believed it held the ingredients for perfect love, boiling, stirring, melding souls together like a perfect stew. But one thing was certain, every couple Nneka paired found love that endured the test of time. One evening, under the glow of a swollen orange moon, a stranger arrived in Udumarai. He was tall and cloaked in shadows, with eyes as deep as a well untouched by light. His name was Ojadaik, and his presence unsettled the air. He watched as Nneka walked, stirring a steaming pot in the center of the village, speaking in riddles that made love bloom where once there was drought. He saw how the women clutched their chests in gratitude, how the men smiled at their newfound fortunes in love. And then, he spoke. Nneka, the pot-hearted, they call you. His voice was like distant thunder, rolling yet restrained. But I wonder, do you know love yourself? The villagers gasped. No one had ever dared question Nneka's own heart. She straightened, tilting her head slightly, making the moonlight catch the curve of her pot. Love is not for me, she said. I am but a vessel, a conduit for others. Ojadaik stepped closer. Or is it that you are afraid? A murmur rippled through the crowd. No one had ever challenged Nneka like this before. You wear a pot upon your head, as if to hide something, he continued. If love is your gift, why do you not taste it yourself? Nneka felt the weight of the pot pressing down, not from its heaviness, but from the burden of her own truth. For years, she had poured herself into others, never daring to sip from the cup of love for fear that it would spill, that she would be left empty. Ojadaik took a step forward, his voice dropping to a whisper that only she could hear. Remove the pot, Nneka, and let me see you. Her breath caught. She had never been asked to do such a thing. Her hands trembled at her sides. If she took it off, would she lose her magic? Would love abandon her the way it had abandoned so many before her? The village held its breath. Slowly, with fingers unsteady yet resolute, Nneka reached up. She felt the warmth of the pot, the familiar shape that had been her armor, her shield, her very identity. And then, she lifted it. Gasps echoed through the night. But it was not horror that filled the air. It was awe. For beneath the pot, Nneka's hair was woven from strands of gold, each lock shimmering like the morning sun. Her skin glowed, radiant and untouched by time. And in her eyes, the deepest love the village had ever seen flickered like an eternal flame. Ojadaik smiled. You are love itself, Nneka. Tears welled in her eyes. For the first time, she felt seen, not as the matchmaker, not as the keeper of others' happiness, but as a woman deserving of love herself. The pot, once her greatest power, clattered to the ground. And yet, she did not feel empty. She felt full, brimming with something she had given so freely but never allowed herself to receive. The village erupted into cheers. The wind carried the sound across the dry land, and for the first time in years, rain began to fall. And as the drops kissed her skin, Nneka turned to Ojadaik and whispered, "Then let us see if love, too, will endure for me." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more amazing stories like this. Thank you and have a wonderful day.